Hello again. Today I want to talk about hair loss, wigs and scarves. This is something that affects a lot of people going through cancer treatment, and it can be really distressing. So it's just to know what the options are and how to best get through it. So as I've said before, I'm not a hair specialist, medical professional or anything, but this is my experience. The first thing I did was to have my hair cut shorter. So I used to have my hair much longer before I was diagnosed, and it just occurred to me that if it went thin, which was at least going to go thinner, then it would look better if it wasn't long and straggly. I also was told not to use too much heat on it, to not tug on the hair while you're going through chemo. So instead of blow drying it straighter, smoother with a brush, I dried it naturally with a diffuser on a sort of a medium heat, instead of blasting it with a hot heat as I've always done. And I put my heated tongs away and didn't touch them for, I don't know, a couple of years maybe. But I didn't get rid of them because you never know. I am a bit of a hoarder, unfortunately, but I'm usually right. Whether it's that or clothes, they come round again. So that's my first step. And I was going into work with curly hair, not looking my usual self, but thinking this was probably the most practical approach. So as I said before on a previous episode, my hair started thinning, and at one point there was a lot of dead hair in it, and I stopped brushing it. I was so afraid, and then I got my hairdresser in. She used to come to the house, and she said, it's not just knotted, it's dead hair, I'll have to brush it out, which was not very pleasant. I think probably at that point I should have shaved my head, but I was still clinging on. So I had very thin hair at that point. And then I started looking at ways of covering what was going on, and I started with scarves. So, first of all, just sort of tying them round and round again, to cover the worst parts, which were on the top and here. So eventually it was obvious that I was going to have to shave my head, because I got to the stage where it looked worse than a shaved head. And also, when it comes to getting a wig, it is better to try your wig on to your size once your hair is gone, because then it'll be a better fit. So much as I wanted to rush out and be prepared, get the wig in readiness, I did wait until I could at least smooth what hair I had down to try it on. And I was fortunate because in Wales you are given a voucher to go to a recognised wig outlet, and it paid most of the cost of the wig that I got. So I'll just show you the wig that I got, which, as you can see, is actually a lot nicer than my own hair. I had to sort of trim it around my face, the fringe. Probably better to get someone who knows what they're doing to do that. But I've always trimmed my fringe myself of my own hair, and I cut my husband's hair, even though I'm not a hairdresser. I've been doing that for the 38 years that we've been married. So I gave it a go, and I found it was really comfortable. But it did get hot. You can see the inside is very breathable, and actually if your head itches, when you've got it on, I was able to get my nail through to scratch my head. So, you know, it's not like wearing a hat, which is, you know, really quite comfortable. I would put it on, but because I've got hair, it doesn't look good on me now. But I've got a picture to show you what I looked like. Well, this was me when I first had my hair cut and coloured 6 months after I finished the chemo. So you can see I got a short pixie crop, which actually I really liked. I surprised myself. But I didn't keep it like that because I was so keen to get back to me, to being myself again. Before I did that, then I was wearing my wig for work, and this is me with the wig on. So I was quite happy with the look, although I did find that it was a bit itchy because it's not real hair, it's a type of fibre that feels very natural, but that did give me a bit of irritation if I kept it on all day. So when I came home of an evening, after work I would take it off, and then I would put one of my scarves on, which then, you know, I could cover the fact and I wouldn't feel self-conscious. So this is a cute one, which looks a bit like a tied scarf. That was another one. Nice and light and cotton with a little bit of a peak, because it's a sort of fringe area, the front, that is tricky to make it look natural when you've got a scarf on. Although when I was at the Look Good Feel Better workshop, volunteering, not the first time I went, but when I was recovering, there was a lady there who had started making fringes on what looked like an Alice band, which you could put, or you could put underneath your scarf to look like your fringe was poking out, and that looked really good. This one I particularly like because I struggled with tying the scarf, you know, in a clever way. So this one would go on, and then it's kind of just wrapping it round. Obviously this wouldn't be here, and then just sort of tie it like this. You tuck it out of the way. Like that. And I thought, you know, that felt like it wasn't going to unravel, or if it did, it didn't matter, because the hat part of it underneath would stay in place. When your hair grows back, and I was excited about that, every time I went for a massage, I think it was only Sandy, my masseuse, that saw me without anything covering my head. And she was giving me Indian head massage as part of my treatment, which was ideal because there's no hair to get in the way, and she could, you know, really sort of work my scalp. And I'd say to her, do you think it's growing yet? And it actually started growing back before I had my last chemo. It was explained to me that somehow the follicles get used to it and rebound, so that was exciting. So I could feel the little tufts coming. And then the difficulty was, a lot of people say, well, when it starts growing back, shave it to make it stronger so that there's more growth coming through at the same time. I managed to do that once, but I couldn't bring myself to do it a second time. I was just so keen to see the hair regrowth. So with the wigs, I did buy another one later on, and from the same outlet, who specialise in chemotherapy patients. And then I wanted another one a little bit more special, and I went to a different outlet. But really I was being a bit ambitious, and for my age, and I ended up with this gorgeous long one, but I just couldn't get it to sit right and the fringe never worked. So I would say don't be too ambitious. Probably I'd have a short one if I had my time over, although the good thing was that the wig was so much like my own hair that people really thought it was my own hair, until I told them otherwise. With dealing with really short hair, because I'd never had that before, my hairdresser gave me a few tips, because when it comes through, back through, it's a bit flyaway, it doesn't know which direction it's going to go in, so it needs a little bit of help and training to go the right way. So I got hair texture cream. Now this one is a Nevada one, which I absolutely love, and it smells wonderful. Oh, and you only have to put a tiniest little bit on your fingers, and then just, even now with my, it comes and goes, and I get them sticking straight up in the air, so I go like this. So it will last a long time, but it is expensive. And there's loads of others out there. So there's this Got To Be Eye Stylist Texture Clay, which is a bit more sticky, a bit more firm, but it does the job when your hair is that short. And as I say, that it's handy for that sort of intermittent regrowth that you get along the way. Then I was trying lots of things. I was trying serums, because although it grew back, I had this sort of receding here, thinner here and here. So I tried all things. This nanotechnology, which has got this powder, which is the colour of your hair, and you put in to sort of disguise. It's quite good actually when your roots are showing through, but it wasn't the wonder answer for me that I was looking for. I used serums and massaged my hair on a regular basis. I took supplements that had biotin in, but I didn't do a control test, so I can't really be sure whether anything worked, or I might have been the same anyway. I've got a feeling that just the action of massaging the area, massaging your scalp, stimulates growth, because I've been doing a lot of that lately, because I've had a really itchy head, and then I sent for some serum because I'd had a time where my hair was coming out too fast. It seems to have balanced out again now, but you've got things like this Avon Advanced Techniques leave-in treatment spray. Now I can't say whether that would work or not, but it's not very expensive, and I'll have a go at that because it's got biotin collagen complex. It's sort of like trying something, not just putting up with being unhappy with your hair, having a go whether you massage some oil in before you go to bed, or you buy a product that's within your price range. And then, in order to make what I've got look thicker than it is, I use Osis Schwarzkopf Big Blast. Just squirt it into a little bit into your palm, or on the tips of my fingers actually, and I go into my roots with that. But also something like this L'Oreal Elvive Stylist Mousse Extra Volume. I put some of that then on the rest of my hair, and that just gives the appearance of more thickness. So I'm going to do a demonstration of how I make it look thicker with rollers later on, but for now that's just a quick episode about your hair journey, and we'll move on then to another one. Bye.